Today we're going to deal with some hard claims, and we're going to answer them with hard evidence. But I want to make sure we do this also with soft hearts, because make no mistake, anti-Semitism, and that's what was found in the Tucker Carlson nun Agapia interview, there was anti-Semitism all throughout it. It's a sin. James 3, Romans 11, and so many scriptures make this plain. But so is dehumanizing an entire people group. We reject both. Here's my thesis today, my factual thesis. God's covenants with ethnic Israel are unconditional and irrevocable. The church does not replace Israel, and modern Israel's existence is no accident of history. It is consistent with God's providence and promise. Take a look at the introduction of the video that broke the internet.
Thank you for doing this. So you first moved to the Holy Land in 1996?
Correct, yep.
As a nun?
Right.
How are Christians doing in the Holy Land?
Well, it's become a very difficult time for them there. Basically, the Christians are in the same situation as the Muslims.
All right, there's a lot of false claims. Let's deal with them one by one. False claim number one. This isn't terrorism, she said. It's land grabs. That's all it is.
So it's like a living death. How would you like to be a man? That was your grandfather's olive trees. But now it's controlled by Israel, and you're not even allowed to drive on that road. The Israelis are here. They're pulling up our olive trees, cutting them down on some of their land. And he ran over, he collected as many of the trees as he could. Military order, that's what it was. They just go and do it, even though it's not their land. I'm not sure what Israel is trying to do. I mean, it's horrific what's going on in Gaza, and what is very concerning to me, and why I'm grateful to be on your show, is that what is going to happen, the people that I know in the West Bank, Christian and Muslim, it's not said, but it's like, we're next.
Did you catch it? She just dismissed decades of bloodshed and massacres and rockets as nothing more than land grabs from teeny tiny size of New Jersey, Israel.
During all that time, huge pieces of land were owned by various Christian churches, particularly in Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. What happened to that? Do they still own that land?
They own the land, but this is where it's sort of a lesser kind of persecution, is that they use legal means or semi-legal means, because you have land that was under the Ottoman Empire, and there might be some documents or certain leases, and they say, well, the lease is up now, we have to renegotiate it, and suddenly the Christians have lost a portion of their land. Or they'll use middlemen and say, and it's sort of acts of deceit, and they end up buying these front companies come and buy off some of the land, and you don't realize that it's going to not Christians or not to Palestinians and being used in another way.
In Jerusalem, that happens?
Yeah, primarily around Jerusalem and Bethlehem. There's large chunks that have been taken.
Well, that's not history, that's propaganda. Deuteronomy 1:8 says this, quote, "See, I have set the land before you. Go in and take possession of the land."
What's the key word?
"That the Lord swore to your fathers." Israel's claim is not colonial, it's covenantal. To reduce it to a land grab is to deny the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For 2,000 years, empires did rule this land. Everyone from the Romans to the Byzantines to the Ottomans to the British and more. But in 1947, the UN partitioned it. They asked for one Jewish state and one Arab state. Well, Israel accepted, but the Arab leadership rejected and launched an all-out war. Out of that war, Israel won, and out of that came the refugee crisis. So who grabbed land? Well, obviously not Israel. Listen, Psalm 105, 8 through 11 says, God remembers his covenant forever to 1,000 generations, saying, to you I will give the land of Canaan. If you reject that, your fight isn't with Israel. It's with God himself. False claim number two, Hamas are defenders. Israel are the real terrorists.
Why punish the Christians for Islamic terror?
Because I don't think it's Islamic terror that's taking place in the first place. I think we have to disabuse ourselves of that notion that this is a battle between Muslim and Jew.
Wow. Well, apart from that being demonstrably false, I would say, even if you assume that's true, defenders of what? Beheading civilians? Launching rockets at schools? Hiding weapons in hospitals? Isaiah 5:20 warned us, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Proverbs 6:16 through 19 says, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that make haste to run to do evil.
And that's bad.
Well, Hamas is guilty on every count. Romans 13:3 through 4, rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. I like the way that paraphrase puts it. Israel's God-ordained role is to wield the sword against those who practice evil. Since 1948, Israel has sought peace. Egypt and Jordan signed treaties. Hamas, while their charter calls for annihilation of the Jews. That's not defense, obviously. That's genocide. Ezekiel 13:22 condemns those who, quote, dishearten the righteous falsely and encourage the wicked. That's what we're watching, accusing murderers while condemning victims. They are destroyers. Israel is not the terrorist. Israel is the target of terror, fighting for their very survival. Moving on, false claim number 3. This isn't a religious issue at all. Her direct quote was, this is not about religion between Muslims and Jews. Well, isn't it? Then why does Hamas shout Allahu Akbar with every rocket fired? Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Why do their charters quote the Quran calling for Jewish extermination? Listen, Psalm 83:4 foretold this. They say, come, let us wipe them out as a nation. Let the name of Israel be remembered no more. This isn't mere politics. That's just wishful thinking. This is a spiritual hatred against God's chosen people. If it were just politics, why target Jews in Paris and New York and Buenos Aires? Well, I'll tell you why, because the spirit behind this is not political. It's demonic. Revelation 12 calls Satan the accuser of the brothers. And in verse 17, he goes after Israel specifically. False claim number 4, Israel is occupying stolen land. It's true the land is stolen, but it wasn't stolen by Israel. Genesis 17:8 says this, and I will give to you.
Who are they talking about?
It's talking about Israel. And to your offspring.
Wait, who?
Talking about Israel. All the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession. Everlasting means everlasting. No expiration date. Amos 9:15 says, God will plant them on their land and they shall never again be uprooted. If you deny that, you're denying God's word, or you're at least allegorizing it, rewriting it, or just tearing out pages. Archaeology, language, history, all of it confirms a continuous Jewish presence in the land. Were others there too? Yes, but none with a covenant claim. The irrevocable covenant. Let me just summarize this. It's not land grabs, it's covenant promise. Hamas are not defenders, they are destroyers. It's not merely politics, it's deeply spiritual. Israel is not occupying stolen land. They're fulfilling God's eternal decree. Romans 11:29 says, the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. That's the headline, that's the truth, and that's why no lie from Hamas or their propaganda defenders or propaganda lying nuns, or from the halls of the United Nations can erase God's covenant with Israel. And even if major media figures nod along with this deception, then friends, it just makes it all the more urgent that the church stands for the truth. This is Rob Singleton. I'll see you in the next video.